of heroes, legends old. In his stories their glories unfold. Baz the Bard with strings of gold. His heart cries out the tales he's told.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Meta Report. It's ProQuest London Week 3 and I have Scott Mines with me. How's it going, Scott?
You can't get rid of me forever, Baz. I took a week off, I gave someone else a chance, and I missed it so much that I'm back again for more Meta Report. But yeah, no, I'm doing reasonably well. Absolutely exhausted in all the best ways, but other than that, we're doing okay.
Yeah, two ProQuests you took part in, so you can tell us
about
that.
Yeah, look at me getting a weekend to play in events. What a novel change of pace. Yeah, looking forward to talking about it a little bit.
That's it. New job, new rules. Get to play. Right, cool.
Totally how that works. Yeah.
So first off, I have to apologise for last week. Last week, I said that Chris Chalk was playing a CYB Enigma list, and he wasn't. He was playing a ordinary Enigma list, and it was Ben Westmore that was playing the CYB. Okay, yeah. So sorry I upset you, Chris.
Yes, it was mentioned to me in person that you'd made this error, as though I somehow had the power to correct that. However, I don't, but I'm glad that error has been corrected now.
Thing is, I do make mistakes. You know, I'm not perfect, and yeah, that was pointed out. So normally, I raise my hand up, and I do humbly apologise to you, Chris. All right, mate. Righty. Okay. Right. So we are on to the first of our classic constructed. We are in Ireland. We like starting with Ireland. The Gathering in Limerick. This is their last ProQuest. 15 players, all the way in the southwest of Ireland. And Dash has made a splash. That is what she's done. What do you reckon?
Welcome to the show. You're going to be seeing a lot of this. Now, of course, there was a little bit of a supply chain issue. Asmodee, the resounding, beautiful company they are, continue to fail to deliver things on time. And that does indeed cause some problems for stores that are stocked by Asmodee and customers looking to buy Armoury decks from said stores. So you won't see quite as much DO as perhaps you were expecting, but there are some stores who got their hands on them. There were some people that drove for 3 hours to pick one up on a Friday. That may or may not include me. And I imagine that several of these people did the same to get their hands on DO for this event. So not surprised to see it being the most played hero. Everyone's very excited to see how it does. Beyond that, really cool to see some Zen. Had a bit of a resurgence over the last couple of weeks as well in the face of Enigma and the like doing well. Deck's still very powerful and very consistent more than anything else. So that's lovely. Aurora, kind of the expected big cheese. Cool to see a Bolton and a little bit of Viscerai hanging out as well. Obviously, a pretty stellar performance from that one so far this season as well. So
indeed, the heroes are kind of panning out. These are kind of like the ones you always see: Aurora, Florian, Azalea, Viscerai, Enigma. They're sort of like these are the ones you're always going to see nowadays. So let's get into the top four. This is the nitty gritty. Okay, Carl Boyle on Zen. He's won an RTN in 2024. Ian Holland on Aurora. So we've seen him make two other finals in Ireland. RTN 2023, ProQuest 4, ProQuest 5. ProQuest London as well last week. Or was that? No, that was the first week, sorry.
Too many results.
Yeah, he's trying to remember. It's bad enough. Skirmish 7, Skirmish 9. Conor McGrath. He's abandoned Azalea. What the hell is going on? Calling Leon finalist, RTN 2024, and a Skirmish 9 under his belt. Dashio, the first top four we've seen her in. And Dave Russell. He made it into the top 4 at 7th Dimension last week. It was quite funny, his little comment on Discord when I said that he'd won as many as me. So, Dave, I hope you do better today. All right, mate?
Fingers crossed.
Saturday, we should say. Sunday, sorry. Right. What do you reckon?
So, this is going to be as hard as it comes in terms of predicting a top 4 like this, because this is a bit of an aggro mess. And both of these matchups very much come down to who was on the play, who was on the draw, who found their particular cards when, where, and why. There's not an awful lot of blocking going on in this top 4. People are very much interested in taking scalps and not apologizing for it. So going to be a fair bit of guesswork. From experience so far, I prefer to be on the Aurora side of the Aurora Zen matchup. And of course, I have a bias towards Dio. Being the best aggro deck in the format. So my best guess is going to have to be Aurora Dio.
Aurora Dio.
Indeed.
Aurora Dio it was. Now, these two have fought over every final in Ireland. It's just like, that is an impressive record. They've both got 1 win each. So
Certainly is. So who took the tiebreaker? Now, my humble opinion of this matchup so far is that it is close, and spoiler alert, it does get lost by Dio a few times over the course of the weekend. But I do think it is favoured for Dio on the whole, but only slightly. And so I'm going to guess this went to Connor.
it did go to Connor. Well done, Connor. Another win under your belt. This one with Dashio. You did say you like murdering people and looking at the top of your deck, which is very much like Azalea's jam. So yeah,
Tomato, same thing.
indeed. Both come from the same sort of like gaming group, Try Shot. Ian Holland got a lot of advice from Shahmir as well. So yeah, he's done well. Right, so let's see how that goes into the meta map. So was a bit of a rangy fest, but now Dashio's here. She's made her stand, we shall say. Firmly put her foot down. So well done to you all. Connor, 2-time champion. Dylan Thompson. Why did I have Ian Holland as a win? Oh, there we go. There's one for you. One for free you got there.
Start keeping track down in the comments, folks.
I better update my records. I've got to go through them. That was wrong. Void Games in Crewe, 20 players. This is their first ProQuest. This is the first time I've seen them do an event. So well done. Well done indeed for landing a ProQuest. This was streamed on Az's Go Again gaming channel, providing commentary with Ian Porter. So yeah, 3 Aurora, 3 Azalea, 3 Dashio, 3 New. Oh my goodness, why wasn't there 3 Enigma?
I know, right? No, look at this spread. First of all, yeah, huge congrats to Void Games. It seemed like a lovely group of people down there. Really happy to see them getting their first ProQuest. Clearly meant quite a lot to them. They asked all the players from this event to sign a playmat on the way out the door. They're going to look to frame and keep in the venue. So it clearly means quite a lot to them to have an event of this kind of stature, and I'm sure people will be back as a result. It was a lovely time and a very interesting metagame. This was very much a tale of people who understood that Dashio was about to exist and people that wanted to play decks that were good into her. And we're going to see that a lot over this weekend, trust me. So you see a little bit of that with New, a little bit of that, of course, with the Riptide, which was indeed fatigue Riptide in this case. Huge shout outs to Liam Canning and Emma Walsh, who are both playing some Macilio, which makes me very happy. And they're having a blast in doing so. And just a really good spread of heroes here. Surprisingly little amount of illusionists, but beyond that, all very believable numbers.
Was the dreaded CYB New there? Was that there?
The CYB News did not turn up in Crewe, but they were later to be found in the UK this weekend. So this was a lot of very bog standard news.
Okay, cool. Right, top 4 time. Liam Holden on Aurora, calling Liverpool finalist ProQuest 4, ProQuest 5, Skirmish 8, and he's got 3 top 4 finishes so far, so hopefully he might do better. Philip Connolly on Riptide, got no information on him. Rob Catton, World San Jose top 8, Battle Hardened Liverpool winner, ProQuest 4, ProQuest London 1, Skirmish 6, 2 Skirmish 7s and a Skirmish 9, and he is on Dashio. There we go, Dashio's made it into the top 4, and James Brooks on New.
So spoilers, I can't plead ignorance on this one. I was at the event. I was promptly eliminated by Liam Holden in the quarterfinals, courtesy of a very, very disgusting balance of justice, finding a particularly painful Channel Lightning Valley. So congratulations to Liam for making me miserable on the first day of this weekend. But it does mean, of course, that I know how this event played out. Huge shout out to Rob Can, of course, for bringing the Dash.io deck I needed to be able to play the event with him, much along with his own as well. So this was sadly Phil taking down Liam here in the semi-finals to carry on with Riptide, and Rob beating out James to make us a Riptide Dio final.
It was a Riptide Dio final. Okay, so I sat there and watched this one, and I was like, "Oh my god, this was an absolute banger of a game."
It certainly was. This was a barn burner, and for hilarious context, I played Phil round 1 at this event, and I also played Phil round 1 at Fanboy 3 the following day. Of course, he is on Fatigue Riptide, which is not a particularly pleasant matchup for Dash.io. I managed to beat him twice, and I was ecstatic about it, and it definitely gave Rob some hope in taking down this final. So you'll be glad to hear that he didn't, and Phil decided to bury him and leave him with no cards in deck and take this one home.
Yeah, the thing is, Rob nearly took this game. It was so
It was
close.
It
And
was
then
real close.
that plan for the worst. Oh my goodness, that put in so much effort.
Yeah,
That was-
people
oh my
underestimate
God.
plan for your worst. And full disclosure, I had to read the card when it was played against me in round one. Double check and make sure I know how it works. Turns out that's not at random. They get to keep whichever trap they want. It's quite good, actually, and does indeed cause some headaches. And yeah, if you want to go back and watch that feature match in the finals, it's a bit of a clinic on how good that card is and how you too can plan for the worst.
Indeed. Right, so well done. Let's just confirm that. There we go. Well done, Phil. I don't think the gold foil was opened.
No, the gold foil's been kept sealed for now. We might get news later as to what was inside. They're not sure what they want to do with it yet. But at this time, they've kept it sealed, so they still have the choice as to what they want to do with it.
The gold foil in Ireland hasn't turned up yet. So we're week 3 and they're still waiting for their gold foils, which is a real shame.
It is a shame.
Righty, so Spellbound Games, 33 players at this one. This was in London. They've done a couple of events now. We saw them in the skirmish season. So absolutely fantastic turnout. And you can go and watch that event on Spellbound on Twitch. I'll try and put the links in the video description, if I remember, essentially. That's how bad it gets. But I will do my best to try and put those links for Spellbound and for Az's Go Again Gaming one. All right?
Yeah. So this is definitely where you see some of those availability issues coming into effect. I know that the South found it much harder to get hold of the Dash.io Armory deck, so I'm not surprised to only see 2 of them at Spellbound's case. Huge shout out to Verdance here, because that is currently my favourite pet deck, and I'm always happy to see it seeing some play. I've spent far too much money on cards I don't need to own in foil for our lovely Earth Wizard. But yeah, again, yeah, very much kind of what I expected. A little more Azalea than I expected, admittedly. But London has some known faces who enjoy their heroes. Not surprised to see 3 Victor as a result, and also not surprised to see a whole whopping 7 Rune Blades, because they certainly do like their Rune Blades down that neck of the woods as well.
Yeah, it's weird. No Aurora, but 3 Vinsets. It's just like, wow. I've not seen Vinset turn up in that much force.
You can tell they've got a type down there with Shahmir, can't you?
Yeah, it was at the event, that's for sure. Righty, top 4 time. So, Dan Vanderberg on Enigma. So, he is a well-known cosplayer. Always turns up in costume. So, yeah, always look out for Dan. Ember Lee on Vincent. Toby on Zen. See, Zen only needs one name, and so does Toby. And Kieran Lee on Kano. So, what do you reckon of these?
Interesting matchups. I thankfully haven't had this one spoiled for me, so this is going to be a little bit of guesswork. Kano Zen is a bit of a sketchy matchup, depending on which side of it you want to be on. It could be lightning fast. Obviously, the dynamics have changed quite a lot since we've lost the great book burning alongside Bonds of Ancestry. So who really knows exactly what's going on there? My best guess would be that I'd like to be on the Kano side of that. So I'm probably going to lean that way. Enigma, Vincent. I mean, this isn't a matchup I've played a ton, but it does feel like giving an Rune Chant unpreventable might be a bit good against a pile of wards. So I'm going to hope this is Vincent Kano.
Yeah, I don't think Manifestations of Mirage is going to be staying long versus Vincent. It was. Okay.
Now, I haven't played this matchup at all because, quite frankly, who has? But this is an incredible finals, and I have to imagine the hero that needs to keep an extra card to do things might not like being set on fire by a wizard. So my best guess is that Kano took this down.
Okie dokie. Right. So Kano did take this down. Okay. Kano is the winner, but that was through, as what happens sometimes at ProQuest level. There
friendly negotiations.
That's right. That's what we'll call it. So Kieran took the win. Okay.
Understood.
But they did play the game out for Twitch's sake. Right.
I see.
So for the real winner, what do you want to go for?
I'll stand by what I said. I haven't watched it, and it sounds like I need to because it sounds like it's a bit of a banger of a game. But I'll stand by Kano.
No.
Fair enough. Very cool.
It was really good. Shahmir is a bit fresh with his words during it, but
Understood.
But yeah, it was a brilliant
Never
game.
changed, Shahmir.
It was an absolutely brilliant game. So yeah, well worth checking out and going back and watching that one. It was really, really good. But we do have, I snagged the gold foil opening for
Very
it.
cool.
He says. There we go.
Drum roll, please.
There you
Yeah,
go.
there you go.
Isn't it face down then flip it?
There you go.
So it's face down.
If when you open the seal towards you, it is face down.
Wise words.
Not only is it a
Okay, that
Shahmir
way,
we can
that's
hear,
face
but
down.
also you can tell he's opened enough gold foils at this point and knows how envelopes work.
Oh yeah. So let's see that boy. Okay.
Let's see that boy indeed.
So
Flip
what
it.
are we praying for? What are we praying for?
Gambler's gloves. I mean, that's
That's the gambler. The gambler now.
Never changed. That's a good one. That's a good one.
This is why we gamble.
This is why we gamble. Yes, that's great.
That's good.
I love to see people getting passionate about these things because it should be an exciting moment. And yeah, that's adorable. Yeah, Death Dealer, great hit.
Yeah, Shahmir, I cut it off where the video where Shahmir went, you always bleep gamble.
Never change, Shahmir.
Yeah, wise words from Shahmir. And he's covering week 4. So hopefully
Delightful.
we'll have to make sure Shahmir don't swear on the Mail Report. Righty, the biggest event of the weekend was...
Oh, yeah.
Boom, Fanboy 3 in Manchester, 44 players. What a fantastic event. Liam Canning was judging, correct?
He was, yes.
So he's not playing in this one.
This was a barn burner, and I'll be completely honest. The trains wreaked havoc with this event as well. There was a lot of last-minute schedule adjustments that caused people to decide not to attend last minute because they just couldn't get to Manchester in time for the event. I myself ran from Oxford Street to make it in time for the event to start because it was the only way I was going to get there. So I have no doubt this might have broke 50-odd players if everybody had been able to make it there. And the fact these things are getting this big is an astounding testament to how strong the Flesh and Blood community is in the north of England. It's been incredible to watch.
Yeah, I mean, this whole ProQuest season, people have come out, desperately want to get a ProQuest, invite. It is in London. Maybe it's not everybody's favourite flavour in places to go in the UK. You're not exactly travelling the world, but it's a pro tour. You want to get there. Righty.
Absolutely.
So top 4 time. Tim McCarthy on Prism. He's got a ProQuest 5 under his belt. Sebley, I've got no information on him. Richard Carr, seasons Skirmish 7. He got a top 8 at Langdon Games last week, and he's won 2 Baz Brawls. They're my events. I can't even flipping say them. Scott Mines on Dashio.
Look, it's me.
Yeah, RTN 2023, RTN 2024. You've got a pretty good record, haven't you?
I'm all right at card games, apparently. So pay me for some reason. Who knows? Plenty of context to this one. There was a bit of a barn burner of a top 8 in general. A lot of big names just outside this top 4 as well. Huge credit. I'll give it to Seb Lee. If you're not familiar with Seb, he's one of our young'uns over in Manchester. Has been trying desperately to get better at Flesh and Blood for the longest time. Has been putting in the work to try and make it happen and managed to come out in this event at the very top of Swiss with a 6-0 undefeated record.
Nice.
Just to get themselves into this top 8. I would give them a lot more props for that if it wasn't Count Your Blessings new. And they didn't make me miserable along the way in order to get there in the Swiss rounds. It was not fun at all, and I don't like him anymore. With that being said, Tim, local to Manchester as well now, has moved over very recently. Rich, the only member of the car from the Midlands I hadn't yet beat, and I was desperate for the total party kill of the entire 3 of them from the car. Took Dave Carf out on CYB Enigma, took down Matt Brown on KO. And unfortunately, Richard managed to go 4 attacks wide as an Azalea to put me in the garbage with 1 point of life remaining. So I did not manage to win this semi-finals, which is a real shame because waiting for me in the finals would have been Tim McCarthy on Prism. And good Lord, is that a fantastic matchup for Dio.
Do you not find Azalea Dash, I mean, with her on hits, I mean, that can be quite tricky.
It can. So the truth is, this matchup is very dynamic. There's actually a lot of debate as to whether you're supposed to go first or second. And a lot of what matters is the power cards. Obviously, Red and the Ledger and the like are a huge pain for a deck like Dio. Remorseless is not fun, but you can work through it. But in a similar vein, Signal Jammer is an absolute kick in the arse for Azalea, and you can Spark of Genius to find that thing. So for the most part, the games are quite fluid, and Rich did go first, did dominate Red and the Ledger into my face going first, and my first turn was to play a Signal Jammer, and that's how the game ended up being so close in the first place. And it's definitely very winnable for both parties. I would firmly call it 50-50, but admittedly, it's maybe not the most fun matchup in Flesh and Blood. It does often feel like you're at the mercy of the top of your deck in both cases.
Right, cool. Right, so, as you said, Prism versus Azalea.
Indeed. And so I turned around to Rich and I was like, Rich, you've ruined my dreams. You've taken my 3 finals away from me. You better not lose this. So, of course, he did. And Rich lost to Tim, and Tim managed to win this on Prism.
There we go. So, confirmation. Tim won it. We've got his gold foil opening.
And it's a very apt one as well. I won't give any more spoilers than that. And it makes me very sad.
Yeah, I was so happy when I got top 4 because I knew I would be on there, Baz. It'll be my second time.
There we go.
There you go.
Everyone wants to be on the channel.
Yeah. Of course.
Your box
and your that as well. Thank you.
Okay. So pull it out like this.
Yep, and then flip it.
Oh, that's really good. I like that. That's Prism.
So I of course have to say congratulations to Tim. They played a blinder of an event, and they deserve all the pride in the world. And it's a great gold foil for them. But I can't help but feel like I've been robbed. Because, good lord, is Iris of Reality my weapon as well? And it would have been poetic to be able to pull this thing as a gold foil. So I am very bitter, very, very bitter about not managing to take this one down. But huge congrats to Tim.
You'd have had 2 gold foils you really wanted. You'd have had this one and your Metacarpus node.
And the worst part is I told myself after I'd opened the node, obviously the video of that's quite iconic. I called it before I flipped it. I knew the next one I wanted, and if I'd been in this video to call it, I would have done. I would have called for the Iris, and I would have been right 2 times in a row. And I've had that poetry, that story tale taken away from me by Rich Carr, breaking my dreams, and I'm sure I'll forgive him for it eventually.
There'll always be another time. Maybe when you open your next one, it'll be one.
No, I'm washed.
We've got a judge pack.
No, away from here.
We got a judge pack.
We do.
The man with the most boring trousers in the world.
I know, I'm really...
What are these trousers?
It's disappointing.
Fucking hell.
Imagine Canning being practical and not wearing elaborate pants.
I know.
This is my Mr. Business.
Goes against his little nickname.
know what's in this one.
Where's Liam gone?
A
What have you done with
chivalry.
him?
And then
I don't know which way one is.
I'm just going to flip them both.
Wabamo.
Oh, sharpshooters! Let's go!
Yeah, there's a nice tidy bit of kit. It's very surreal hearing myself in the background of that video. But yes, Sharpshooters is not one of the best ones from this. I believe the new Mechanologist chest and the Boltwin headpiece are the ones that you're aiming for. But it is one of the top 3 at least, as opposed to being in the bottom half. So not a bad little pickup for Liam's day's work there either.
Yeah, I've seen Poison the Well open. That was quite nice to see that.
Yeah.
So right.
Poison the Well's a necessary evil in this current climate.
At the minute. So we're over. Well, I say we're over. We're going up. We're going up to Scotland. I don't have the meta breakdown. I haven't received that, but Jamie's supplied everything else. But I do know 28 players that were put my teeth back in. 28 players were at this event. So a good turnout up in Scotland and Edinburgh. Jamie always does a door prize. So the door prize for this event was a graded gold foil Goliath gauntlet. I was just like, oh my God, that's worth going. Previously, he's done judge packs, and that judge pack was open for an Art of War. So he has some fantastic stuff. So
yeah, I was the lovely recipient of a foil first edition Wounded Bull, courtesy of one of the door prizes from Mox in the Hole. They do certainly like to give away some goodies, and that one's still in my Icelander deck to this day. So
nice. So the winner for this one was Sharif Shaban, or Shingo, or Mr. Dory. So well done, Sharif. Fantastic win for you there.
Where is he?
Look, he won a gold foil, mate. He doesn't need to compete, does he?
That's disgusting behaviour. Why not win too? You've let me down, Sharif.
So Bruno Fernandes, he's got a skirmish 7. Daniel Winning, he's playing an Ninja again, but this time he's won everything on Katsu. ProQuest 4, ProQuest 5. Finley Fryer he's on Vincent, a skirmish 9 under his belt. And Andrew Rayner on Dashio, he's the owner of Thistle Tavern, so where you get your singles, and if you're a patron, 10% off. RTN 2023, ProQuest 4, skirmish 6 and a skirmish 8, so a nice tidy player is Andrew.
Yeah, for sure. Huge congrats to Finley here, who's been really putting in the repetitions on Vincent for the longest time, and I'm sure he's very happy to see the support that was given to them to make that deck a more promising choice. That being said, this top 4 is about as good as it gets for Dio outside of a Prism. These are all matchups you're pretty damn ecstatic to see. So I'm going to guess that Andrew took down Finley in the side, that side of the bracket.
Okay.
Zen Aurora is much closer. It's just another very curated aggro mirror, and I'm going to use the sole tiebreaker of Daniel's surname to guess that they were the one who won.
You're keeping your fine form, mate.
Doing my best, and not that rusty. And I'll see if I can stick to it here, because this again is just a spectacular matchup for Dio. You are just the better aggro deck as far as I'm concerned, so I have to assume Andrew took this down.
Let's see. Did Andrew get it? He did. Well done, Andrew. Well done indeed. Another win under your belt. And Dashio again takes top spot.
Going to be seeing plenty more of this. No one believed me last year at Nationals. It turns out I was just 8 months early.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see weeks 3 how many wins Dashio got if she was top.
I'm looking forward to finding out. I really am. Obviously, we know there's some supply issues, but that wasn't the case in the US. So I'm very curious as to how she's done in her first week of legality with all of her new toys.
Yeah. So that ends the Classic Constructed. Let's go on to Draft. So Incon Gaming in Cheltenham, 15 players. So nearly a perfect draft. Almost, yeah, indeed. So that's not too bad.
This is delightful. This is kind of what I want to see. We kind of talked the last time I was on the show about how I expected draft to evolve, and truthfully, it really has. As people are getting ready for the World Championship, a lot of the prep that's going on, there's a lot of revision as to how this format works and what people think is the most important. And we're seeing a lot more flat draft pods than we were at the start of this format that had like 5 Florians or something. Now that we're getting a bit closer to what you'd expect to be normality, there's definitely still a bit of a bias towards the Earth heroes, but it turns out Verdance is often the most popular choice for people when they're given that choice. So it's been definitely a bit of a change of pace. That said, love to see an Acilio in a draft pod, and I'm hoping they manage to take this down.
Okie dokie. Shall we see? Sadly, no Acilio. Pete Ward, Pro Tour Amsterdam top 8. George Roger, Pete Ward's also got a ProQuest 4. George Roger, UK champion 2022, 3 ProQuest 3s and a ProQuest 5. So Pete and George are both on Florian. The Verdance player, George Keys, calling Birmingham top 4, RTN 2023, and Lewis Folkes on Aurora with a skirmish 8 under his belt.
Delightful stuff. Yeah, plenty of results in this top 4 here. Obviously, George,
good players, really good.
A killer.
Players.
Pete with a finalist appearance at the Calling in U-Track. Just everyone's a killer. It's more and more the case as we look at UK Flesh and Blood events. Everyone's incredible. Makes guessing these things, especially in limited, significantly harder. Safe to say Florian probably won on the left, but it's going to be a bit of a coin flip as to who managed to come out on top. I will give the nudge to Pete Ward, purely in the dark, but obviously could go either way. And I would much rather be on the Verdant side of this matchup into Aurora. So I'm going to say this is Florian, Verdant, and it's Pete and George Keys.
Right, okay. So, George
Damn,
Roger.
It's a George off.
It's a George mirror. Okay, so both really nice guys. But it comes down to Florian and Verdance.
It does, and I kind of alluded to it a moment ago. I really like being on the Verdant side of this exchange. I think it's actually the reason to draft Verdance when you're given the choice, so I find it hard not to back George Keys here.
Okie dokie. Let's see. No.
Fair play to George Roger.
So George Roger takes this down. Do you not find that, we saw in the past that Verdance hasn't got a weapon, and that could actually be the end of it?
It certainly can be, and it depends on how these players drafted and what the pod looked like, because I guess there's a fair argument that with an Acilio in the pod, there's a little less in the way of wizard cards going around. But a lot of the versions of Verdance that I like to draft, if given the choice, are just the pure arcane versions of Verdance. I'm not interested in attacks in any capacity really, outside of maybe 10 foot tall and bulletproof if it gets opened, because it's a bit obscene. But I'm not interested in these Autumn's Touches or these other bits and pieces and the Earth Attacks or the Decompose or any of this nonsense. I just want to overwhelm you with so much arcane that you cannot possibly survive. And when that is the case with these perennial Aether Blooms that loop themselves back into the deck and stuff, they're basically a weapon in a roundabout way once that Sanctuary of Aria is gone. So I do find myself preferring to be on that side of the fence if the wizard stuff ends up with me. If you're kind of forced to be more of an attack-centric Verdance, then yes, I imagine Rotwood Reaper is probably the deciding factor.
Fair enough. Cool. Righty, on to the gold foil wasn't opened for this one. So
Understandable.
George never opens his gold foils, do you?
No, I can't blame people for that, quite frankly. It's a bit of a shame, but of course, with the Pro Tour being in London this time, there's a lot more of an incentive to pick yourself up a PTI if maybe you didn't take first place but ended up with a gold foil in some way. So I'm sure we'll be seeing plenty of them being sold this time around.
Dice Saloon in Brighton, 11 players. So draft was a bit weird. A pod of 6 and a pod of 5. But this is the top 8 draft: 4 Florian, 2 Verdance, 1 Aurora, and 1 Acilio. So, like you were saying, a tendency to go more earth heavy into the draft.
Yeah, definitely a preference. This is more the kind of pod that I really don't want to see if I'm one of the Earth heroes, obviously, especially the Florians. I can imagine with there being 2 Verdants and 4 of themselves that 2 or 3 of these probably have a cracked bauble in the deck somewhere, which is really not where you want to be. That being said, you've got to be very happy to be the Aurora or the Acilio in this pod, given how that is slanted your way. So we'll see what the top 4 looks like.
Top 4, you might have been happy to play one of the Lightning characters, but unfortunately, none of the Lightning heroes got through. Adrian Queck on Florian, I haven't got any information on him. Alex Chitu, UK Champion 2023, ProQuest 4. Kevin Sharples on Verdance, Skirmish 6. Jason Rolfe, Skirmish 6, 2 Skirmish 7s, a ProQuest 5. And he picked up his ProQuest win last week at Church of the D20. Also on Verdance.
Well, impossible to distinguish how this one went without any knowledge of the draft pool and what people's decks looked like. Obviously, I have to lean towards the 2 players I have more of a familiarity with and go off pedigree alone. So I'm going to say it's a Alex Kitsu, Jason Rolfe final.
Not quite. Okie
yeah, we're batting 50-50. I'm sure we can get it wrong now in the finals.
Alex Kitsu versus Kevin Sharples.
Yeah, I mean, my same argument from the previous finals applies. If I'm going solely on understanding of matchup, I just don't know anything about either of these players' decks to give any additional context. Yeah. So I'm going to back Verdance again in this case. Okay.
Fortunately not. People might not be going full arcane like you will.
No, for sure. And kind of what we alluded to a minute ago, a lot of how that matchup comes down to is going to be deck composition, because if the arcane didn't come together between the 3 wizards and you've just not got enough, then the Rotwood Reaper is the difference. So without looking at the deck list, it's impossible to know.
Yeah, indeed. So Geek Retreat Sunderland, this is our last one. 3 Florians, 3 Verdants, 1 Aurora, 1 Acilio. We kind of like seeing the same. The thing is, I really feel when you open the packs, Lightning is a bit light in the distribution of the packs. It's just like
spoiler, it is slightly. There was some kind of comments alluded to this. There are a few commons that appear more frequently than others. And it does lend itself to a slightly lopsided draft experience. And as to whether that was deliberate or not is unknown, of course. But it does mean we see more and more draft pods like this. And this is what I actually expect the average draft pod to look like. This, in my opinion, is going to be a very well-navigated draft by all of these players. You really don't want to be Florian or Verdance number 3, but that's not always in your control. I expect most of these pods to be one of each of the Lightning heroes, and they've got very powerful decks, and then a distribution of the rest among the Earth heroes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's see who made it into the top 4. Look at this, one of each. Awesome. Joseph Wally on Acilio, Adam Collins on Florian, calling Liverpool Commoner winner and RTN 2024, Craig Johnson on Verdance, he's got a Skirmish 6 and 2 Skirmish 7s, and Alan Bainbridge on Aurora.
This is a cool one.
It's very cool.
This is what you have to hope for. Obviously, we joked a minute ago it was arguably the perfect pod, and the top four is definitely a testament to that because this is what I want to see. I do think both of these Lightning players are like to have very strong decks, courtesy of the way the draft broke. I do think, on average, I'm probably still going to take Florian over Acilio, although I admittedly hope it wasn't the way that matchup broke. And I do still like Verdance into Aurora personally as well. So I'm going to say we have an Earth final in this case.
Okay. Adam Collins versus Alan Bainbridge. How do you like these ones?
Well, this is a world where I actually like being the Aurora quite a lot. And I think if your Aurora is potent enough to get through the better blocking 3-block wizard cards, then it's probably potent enough to get through Florian too. So I'm going to hope this was Alan Bainbridge on Aurora.
Okay. It was. Well done, Alan. He was playing on his favourite playmat, Jubil playmat that he's got.
Oh, beautiful.
So, yeah, massive warrior main. Even though we've seen him in the past switch to Leviathan for a little bit. Should we see his gold foil opening?
Absolutely. More the merrier.
You ready?
Yeah, I've got you. Don't worry.
There's his playmat there. His beloved playmat.
What a gorgeous map.
Come on,
work, Al.
Dawnblade.
Come on, Dawnblade.
I'd love that for him.
Straight across.
I would love a Dawnblade for him. That would be incredible.
And then you give it a good old flipperoonie.
Oh! That's even better. That's a banger.
In hell.
Yeah, damn right. Pardon the language, of course, but I mean, Dawnblade would have been lovely. But that's the hit. That is the majestic Courage of Bladehold. That's incredible.
That
Lovely
is
stuff,
amazing.
Alan.
When I saw the video, I was like, oh my God, Cole sent me this. And he was like, you are going to love this video. And it was just like, oh my God, what
That's
a card.
banger. Yeah. I mean, that brings back all kinds of nostalgia from me cracking that Metacarpus node. I know what that meant to me being a wizard lover, and I'm sure this Courage of Bladehold means exactly the same to Alan if he's as passionate about Warrior as you say. So huge congratulations on the win, and even more congratulations on a killer gold foil.
Absolutely. Righty, so we are on to the meta map. So this is Scotland. They only had one ProQuest. Andrew Rayner, we saw him take his win earlier in the show, Dashio. Into the north of England, classic constructed, Riptide from Philip Collinley, new George Jones, Prism, Tim McCarthy. Draft was Verdance with Rob Catton and Aurora that we've just seen with Alan Bainbridge. Into the Midlands, which is a bit more spread out. Classic constructed, Enigma with Liam Canning, KO with Matt Brown, Vincent with Shahmir Samee, and the draft was Aurora with Jason Rolfe and Florian with George Roger that we've seen.
Lovely.
Down to the south, still quite a lot of games in the south next weekend, but draft Aurora, Jacob Clements, Florian, Alex Kitsu, classic constructed, Enigma was Jamie Faulkner, and Viserai was Sean Nolden. So the South's going to be hotly contested next week. Into London. There we go. 2 in London. 1 left to go. Viserai, Emlyn Ingram. That was right at the beginning. And Kano with Kieran Lee. That's been this week. Okay. But last week to win yourself a PTI. And this is where they are. Rising Phoenix Games in Middlesbrough. Bad Moon Cafe in London, and if you want to take your hand at draft, that's in Excelsior Comics in Bristol, or if you're available Sunday, Fistful of Dice in Portsmouth, Dark Star Plymouth, Lion's Heart Bookshop in Woking, and Toy and Games of Worcester. Okay, so all to play for. Good luck to everybody.
I'm debating a very ill-advised trip to Worcester with just 2 days before I fly to Japan, and I know I absolutely shouldn't. But I am debating it, so you might see me there.
Sleep on the plane, mate. It's long enough.
I'm afraid I have to do my day job on the plane because that is what I've signed up for. So.
Okay. Fair enough. Righty.
No rest for the wicked, as they say. But...
we're on to the next bit.
Yeah, it's fine.
But I need to make an edit.
That's fine.
We'll cut this out. I've seen it in the preview. I'm like, that's.
I'm guessing Connor's name's still there, isn't it?
How did you guess?
Yeah, there was a very noticeable reaction from yourself, Baz. And I know what's at the top of that page. So, Nearly.
Aha, there we go. Right, cool. There we go. I nearly made a mistake. I don't think that's how you.
Fuck. Well, I tried.
Right, shall we go on to the last bit? There we go.
Yeah, go on.
Now it's right. Oh my god!
Wow, look at that. That name was always there.
Cheers, Scott. Thank you very
You're
much.
very welcome. Happy to help.
Ireland, Jack Walsh, Cole B, Arcanite, Spike, which I think is Dave Russell. UK, Chris Chalk, Az from Go Again Gaming, Ian Porter, Ewan from Incon Gaming, Steve, that made it all the way down to Dice Saloon from London, Tom, Alan Bainbridge, Cole, Liam Canning, and Jamie from Mox in the Hole. Thank you so much for all the information you give me. As always, I cannot do this without the community behind it, giving me all the information. So thank you so much. My patrons, thank you so much. It's allowed me to go and record across the country and bring you 2 weeks of ProQuest videos. So it's brilliant. Thank you. And if you wish to become a patron, you can head to that website there, patreon.com/Baz the Bard, and you will get 10% off of buy the same tokens, Flesh and Blood tokens, Flesh and Blood cards from Thistle Tavern, and your quarterly payment to Patreon will be paid back to you as a gift code for PCG grading. So if you pay £5 every quarter, you'll get a £15 gift code. You just contact them and they'll send you the code through. And Shahmir Samee, you can get some coaching from him, 10% off if you give him the code as well. All right, so worth joining, especially when sort of like Shahmir's been giving tips and tricks to other players within Ireland and the UK, and they're doing really well.
For what it's worth, all those perks are great. People should definitely sign up for those. But more importantly, at least 3 of those people are confirmed to have won a ProQuest. So evidently, if you want to win a ProQuest, you should probably be a patron of Baz. You see, that's where I messed up. Should have remedied that before I played my top 4 games. So don't make the same mistakes I did. Give this man money and win tournaments as a direct result.
Or you could like and subscribe this video. Subscription is always good. I've just broke 1,400. So, absolutely over the moon. I'm so chuffed with that. So thanks to everybody who subscribed. And if you haven't, why not click that button? Scott, anything you want to say before we sign off?
Yeah, Flesh and Blood's hard. Really hard. Congratulations to everybody who managed to win an event this week, because wasn't me. It's been lovely, honestly, just seeing these events getting bigger and bigger, the attendance getting larger, just stone cold killers in every single one, and also just a ton of names that you don't have information about finding success, because holy crap, they finally got through that glass ceiling that often finds itself in the way. So this has been a blast, and I'm really hoping that every other season in the near future feels just like this one.
Nice, brilliant. So good luck with your ProQuest week 4 wins, everybody. And come back next week and see how that all shakes down. All right. So until that time, take care and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
Breaking news, everybody. I hope you haven't left, because ProQuest 3 results have just dropped. So we thought we'd do a quick edit and shoehorn it in. Okay. So
huge shout out to LSS as always, publishing this week's results just after the meta report has been filmed and just before I go to bed. Appreciate you very much. Thank you.
We get there in the end. Right, here we go. ProQuest 3 results. Oh my goodness. So we have
look at that pie chart.
It's not bad, is it? We've seen Aurora and Enigma shoot it out between each other for the top spots for 3 weeks now. Aurora's taken it this week, but there's not much separating them at all.
No, this is stellar, honestly. If you ask me, I got some issues with this meta game, but they're not unfixable. And if you ask me to design a format that looked balanced and looked like it was a level playing field, this is about as close as you can get, really. Like, if you're in a world where there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 heroes that have won more than 10 events this week, what more could you possibly ask for, truthfully? Lovely to see Dio kind of up there in the lights. I will be very interested. I will be very interested to see what next week looks like. I think if we might get the full story of the availability issues if she ends up being a huge winner in the last week. or whether or not she'll just settle into the pack alongside everybody else here that's putting up results. But this is great heading into Worlds. This is exactly what you want. This is just, there are 7 or 8 or 9 or more viable choices for any classic constructed event, and that's just everything I want from a card game. So love to see this.
Yeah, I did envision Dash, the original OG Dash IE going. She wasn't far off, but yeah, she slowed down. I get to play her for a bit more. So yeah, she's like 9.25 going into this week. So
she's hanging out. Yeah, she's picking up 2 a time, and that's not going to be quite enough to send her over the line. Some really cool one-offs this week as well. Shout outs to the Max, the Hype Nitro, not being scared of all the TikTok clocks at all, and just winning a ProQuest anyway. Of course, and a huge shout out to Phil over at Void Games for being the only Riptide in the world to win a ProQuest this week. That's got to be a heck of an achievement.
It's not bad, is it? Yeah,
nah, I love it.
Yeah, kudos to Phil. You know, hopefully he'll do a deck tech and people can see sort of like how much work Plan for the Worst puts in. It's like, God, so awful. But yeah, like you said, it's fantastic to see the spread of heroes coming through. It's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. We've got the control in there, we've got the mid-range games in there, so it's going to be sort of like up to anybody to take it at Worlds. It's probably going to be decided through your draft experience. So make sure you get some draft in, because that can make and break your Worlds events.
I can't wait for this. It's going to be such an incredible event. It's like this format, this draft format together. Get me to Japan. Cannot wait.
2 weeks. 2 weeks to go. Then we're there. So, yeah, will Aurora take the top spot, or will Dash's availability come through and we shall see her at the top as the 2 most aggro decks in this new meta?
Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. Can't wait. It's going to be stellar.
Nice. So, right. Until next time. How many signs?
I've been Howling Minds. Yeah. That's been Baz the Bard. Take care of yourselves, folks. He'll see you in ProQuest Season 4. I might see you at an event somewhere. Take care. Have a good one.
Toodaloo. Bye.